session which we are conducting. We plan to conduct one knowledge session every month. We have ensured that we are able to record this session as well. So whether you are able to attend or not, you will have a chance to be able to go through the content later as well. So that was the broad idea why we decided to provide the recording facility as well. Of course, nothing like watching it live. And I'm keeping my video off because of low bandwidth. But from interactivity perspective, it's always nice to keep the video on. So today we will start with business model. Basically, we are going to discuss the business model canvas. It's a very fundamental and starting point for any entrepreneur. The moment you think about business, the very first thing you need to think about is your business model, right? A show of hands, or if you can comment in the chat box, how many of you are familiar with the whole concept of business model canvas? And maybe you might have made one for your own business as well. Anyone?
No, Hetal.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, Sana. We just started with the introduction, then we're just starting with the
Yes,
first.
sir. Sorry for the delay.
No
Good
problem.
morning.
No, good morning. So yeah, business model canvas is the starting point. What it does is it gives you a snapshot view of the entire business. Hari had shared the template of the business model canvas in the WhatsApp group. I hope you got the canvas and you got some vague idea as far as what business model canvas is. Let's get down to details. So why is it important to understand the business model? So business model is a blueprint of how your business creates, delivers, and captures value. So right from the time when you had that eureka moment and you had an idea on which you wanted to work, you are driven and you are very focused on creating something, right? Creating a venture of your own. But the more people you interact with, either your model gets further strengthened or it gets further weakened. It gets further strengthened when you meet your friends, your family, your well-wishers, who know that you're always dreamt of becoming an entrepreneur. And they're like very positive and very encouraging, and they're like, yes, go for it. I know you can do this. They don't delve as deep into the nitty-gritties of the business model. They're not scrutinizing you, right? They're not trying to give you marks, okay, you get 8 out of 10 for this business model. They are just hearing you, hearing your idea, trying to apply their immediate mind on it and say, yes, I think this is a good idea. What you need is a more holistic and more complete feedback. And you can only get a holistic and complete feedback when you are accounting for all the specific facets of the business, putting it down on paper and vetting and discussing that with other people. Why putting it down on paper is important is for you to be able to be sure that what you're putting is not just viable and feasible, but it's something which will work in the long run. See, in the short run, every venture is a success. You launch a product, and the moment the product is launched, you get a few customers, and the customers buy your product, and it's a great product. Tell us where we can buy this, and so on and so forth, right? And you feel happy about it. But just selling a couple of products will not convert it into a business. You need to expand your customer base. And when you want to expand your customer base, that's where all the challenges come in. Now, the idea of having a business model canvas is, of course, it doesn't guarantee that your business would be successful. But a lot of facets about the business, if you're able to vet it out thoroughly, it gives you the sense of confidence where the challenges lie, where are the opportunities, what are your strengths, and what are your weaknesses. So while you might call the business model sort of a SWOT analysis as well, but it's much more than just a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis, you just restrict yourself to listing out the strengths and weaknesses. Whereas in a business model canvas, you actually pen down specific aspects about what's your product, what's your solution, who's your target customer, how you're going to sell it, where you're going to sell it, what's the revenue model going to look like, what is the customer actually paying you for, and so on and so forth, right? It helps you to refine the goals, align the operations, and achieve long-term success. Align operations. Now, operations is something which all of you have to think about the moment you decide to launch your product. Okay, where is the delivery going to come from? It's part of operations. Who are the players? Who are the partners in the supply chain? Again, it's part of operations. Uh, how does the product get delivered? What is the service support? All these are operational issues. You need to vet out the operational issues as well, not just from the perspective of viability, but also from the perspective of quality, right? What is the quality of service that you can promise? How do you guarantee that the quality of the product will be retained in the long run, right? Specifics like that become very important. Okay, let's move to the next slide. Any questions so far? Okay, great. So basically, the idea of key components include what problem are you solving? Let's take an example of what Archana is doing, right? Archana is in the architecture, in the architect industry, and she is working with uh, end customers. Archana, why don't you just share your business idea and the business model, and we'll expand using your business idea. I hope you don't mind intrusion into the privacy of your business for us all to use that as an example.
Absolutely no, sir. Actually, I'm
Go
having
ahead.
some
Yeah,
network issues over here.
no problem. Go ahead, please.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
So basically, we are solving what do you call project management. It's like a CRM tool, but it is AI-enabled CRM tool. And
Okay.
we have a software. So that is a SaaS, that is software as a service. That is what we are selling, and we are selling that as a subscription model for individual customer based off monthly and annual.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else, sir?
No, great. So let's break it up into each part, right? And I think Archana, you have a fantastic product, but from a positioning perspective, you might want to fine tune how do you describe your product, right? So let's look at the keywords that you used in your product, right? The first one is it's a CRM tool, right? You missed mentioning the architecture industry, right? So let's say architect is architecture industry correct, or is architect industry correct?
Architecture, sir. Architecture.
Architecture. Okay, so you're targeting the architecture industry with a CRM tool which is AI enabled, right? And you're using SaaS as a delivery model, correct? Am I missing anything else?
No, sir. Correct, sir. Correct.
Okay. So and the name of the company is Design Expert, right?
Yes, sir. Design expert. Yes.
Okay. So how do you start off with your one-liner statement, Archana? I'm the founder of a company called Design Expert, which is uh, innovating the architecture industry by providing an AI-enabled CRM tool, which is offered to end users and customers in a SaaS delivery model, which provides a subscription service for the usage of the product. I can delete the subscription service for now because SaaS typically by default is assumed subscription. So we can drop the subscription part, right? So
Yes.
what problem are you trying to solve? Can you elaborate on the problem? So we defined your company. Now let's get down to the next step and say what exactly is the problem that you're solving.
Okay, okay. So I was working on this and try to make it as simpler as possible.
Sure,
So
sure.
the thing is, so if you are an architect who has designed a particular space, now for you as an architect, what will be the quantity of material required, and from where you will purchase, and what is the total amount you will be spending on that purchase? So that is what our software will let you know. And once you have arrived at that value, that is what is required, at how much price, and which is the best vendor for that. and you have passed on to your client, how do you get that job done within the said budget
Mhm.
and within the said timelines? So that is what our software is solving for architects, interior designers, and project managers.
So more than a CRM tool, it's more of a supply chain management tool, right?
Currently, it is we are not getting into logistics. We are just connecting the suppliers and the buyers also. Right now, we have started listing out the material prices on the platform. That also we have started doing. But we are not getting into logistics. Architect can see the prices of the material, use them in their code. If they want to purchase with certain party, we'll help them connect to that particular party. We are not making any logistics or like that right now.
Okay. So basically, the problem that Archana is trying to solve is to address the supply and demand issues which a architect faces for them to work with, for them to work on different projects. They need to have a tool which can help them plan and execute the supply of various materials and services on a regular basis in the entire life cycle of a project. Who are they serving? They are serving the architect industry. So there are various architects. So whenever you want to build a house or a building, you contact an architect who will prepare a blueprint of the entire project and then initiate the construction after having vetted out the blueprint with you, right? So they are design expert is servicing the architecture industry. The problem that they are trying to solve is to be able to provide a tool which can, using AI and technology, make a more accurate prediction of the uh, uh, requirement for various materials and services at various points of time in the in the project lifecycle. How do you deliver the product? The product is purely a technology product, um, which is implemented by the customer on their laptop or desktops, and it provides the entire backend infrastructure access through that tool. Am I right, Archana?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how do you make money? So let's go a bit more deeper. And I know so certain specifics might be confidential, but let's try and discuss the generic, right? So, Archana, what does your cost price and sale price look like, right? So, what do you include when it comes to costing, and how do you go around working on your pricing? So let's go elaborate into the revenue stream. So, what are the revenue options for you?
So that is right now it is only one revenue option. So that is subscription. That is if I
Okay.
sell a monthly or a yearly subscription,
Mm-hmm.
the people purchase that and then that is the revenue stream.
Okay.
So yeah.
Got it. Now let's switch to Gauzy, who's in the baking business, and I want to keep it more involved to ensure that everyone, though you are from disparate businesses, you don't start feeling that we're going into one particular business way too into detail, and it becomes difficult for the other people to relate to it, right? So Gauzy, what are your major costs, right? What's your cost structure look like? How do you go around planning as far as the raw material which you require for your baking and other needs? Why don't you just elaborate a bit on that?
Yeah, actually, sir, my caste is completely something different from everyone.
Sure, that's totally
Actually,
fine. That's totally fine. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Actually, our product is based on baking, not only for baking.
Mhm.
Actually, it comprises of all kind of things. Whereas we buy maida from a particular vendor, whereas he will be giving us in a bulk quantity, and we will be transferring it to something which actually we make in a minimum of 10 kgs. So we require maida for that minimum at least or. Five at least 5 to 10 kgs we require for that. We are facing so many lot of problems while in case of storaging and everything, so we have to include all those. That is all the things we are looking for.
Okay.
Actually, when it comes to costing, um, can you please elaborate me like what kind of costing you're asking for?
Gauzy, your voice has become low, or is it only me?
I don't know, sir. Sorry. Now,
Okay.
am
It's
I
low.
audible?
Yeah, your voice has gone low, but I understand. So when it comes to cost, Gauzy, a standard business model is about you buy some raw material, you make a product, and you sell the product. So
Okay.
typically in a business, your cost would be the raw material cost and the labor cost, the labor which is
Labor cost.
in making the product, right?
Oh,
Now, in
yeah,
your
sir.
case, you would have maida, you would have sugar, you would have butter. Those all become so your cost structure would include elements where you need to spend to buy some
Oh,
material which will help you to produce. Now, in
yes,
order
sir.
for you to produce, there are two aspects, right? One is
Oh,
manual labor, which is your own effort or time being spent towards making that product.
okay.
Second is the
Okay.
machine that you use, right? The machine that you
Oh,
use would typically be a oven, or you could be using a mixer, or you would be using a churning machine, and so on and so forth. A combination of that would include the cost of making. And finally, the sale
okay.
cost, right? So what's the cost involved as far as the at what price you're selling, right? So let's jump to
Okay.
Lakshmi. Lakshmi's got a unique proposition where he is reaching out to end customers and helping them to reconfigure their loans. And invariably, most of these are personal loans. Why don't you elaborate, Lakshmi, and help us understand what are the key activities which are critical for your success for your business?
Uh, yes, sir. As you said, I'm helping people to reduce their existing loan EMI and consultation of multiple loans and new loans at lesser EMI. This was my USP and services. My ultimate uh, customer metrics was the customer need to pay the existing loans properly. So that was the main issue and the key challenges I'm facing. So as of now, we are attracting people who doesn't able to pay the loans. So this is a small metric, and this is a small problem I'm facing.
Got it. Rama, over to you. Why don't you elaborate a bit on your cost structure? What does a cost structure look like for you? I know you're talking about setting up a factory, and for the others who have joined in late, Rama is working on a fairly unique product which can enhance or improve the speed of your broadband, whether it's Airtel or Jio. He's right now using a product which is shipped from China, but he's planning to make the product in-house. Rama? You want to
Yes,
elaborate more on what the typical cost structure for your business looks like?
sure, Hetal. So the cost, our product end product cost structures involves like a PCB, multi-layer PCB designing. We have very less infrastructures in
One second,
India.
1 second. For the people who might not be familiar, PCB is a printed circuit board. It's a
Yes.
small board which has got a lot of electronic components, which is essential for any electronic device. Any of you want to be experimental, you can open your TV or you can open your laptop and you'll find multiple PCBs sitting inside. Please don't come back and catch me in case your family members get angry with you if the device stops working. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sure, Heather. And next is like mold and other component like displays, batteries, etc. So
Okay.
these are the main components along with 5G chipsets. 5G chipsets also we have to outsource it from China, means Qualcomm, MediaTek, Fibocom, or else Unisoc. Only these four brands are mostly majorly occupying the global market. So this also we have to outsource it. Then we are planning to set up a assembling unit here in Tamil Nadu, means mostly in Coimbatore, in and out near around Coimbatore. So we
Okay.
have all the PCB machines available here in Coimbatore itself. We just
Uh-huh.
have to outsource those products, and we are planning to set up a assembling unit here. So
Okay.
in that case, we can avoid paying heavy duty tax to the customs.
Got it.
So if you are buying a completely built unit, then we have to pay like around like a 12 to 18% in the customs duty. But if you are importing it as a completely breakdown, means knocked down units, and we are assembling it here, and if we are exporting it to the global market, then our duty tax will finally get to zero actually. Means if
Got
we
it.
are exporting, then through EP, there are multiple government schemes available, EPMs, MG, then LUT and all. So with that, we can avail all the benefits, and at end we will get to avail like 0% duty tax and all.
Got it.
So
Got it.
yeah, we can
Great.
aggressively price the product, and we can target. We are already targeting business as well as general consumers.
Okay.
So yeah, the product will
Got
be
it.
really good. Yes.
Interesting. Bhargav, I know you recently joined. So what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Can you share a bit more on what's the value proposition that you're looking at in the tech business that you mentioned?
Okay. Hi everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So actually, as a founder of a D2C brands, almost in my career, I have founded almost 7 to 8 brands. So traveling into the D2C space for almost 15 to 20 years, I have traveled to many locations and I have been talking to many D2C founders. So there is a huge problem of getting the initial 1,000 to 2,000 customers, and each and every D2C founder in the FMCG space is struggling hard to validate the product which they have designed. For say example, if it is a food product, it will be designed and it will be tested within their circle. And after testing it within their circle, if it gets positive, they will launch the product. But the testing within the circle, it is limited to 50 or 100 numbers, right? So within the small circle, they are getting a feedback. But unfortunately, sometimes this small network's feedback will not suit the majority of the crowd. So that happens very oftenly. So to avoid this kind of issues and to help every D2C founders to fine tune, to get the initial 1,000 customers and to get the proper reviews of the product, we are planning to put a platform. So the platform will be something like a sampling platform. So we will be giving a smaller SKUs towards the consumers who can try it out and give the liberal reviews about the product in a written format. And we are planning to give the brands the reviews through plugins so that they can use the same reviews in their what to say, in their own website or something like that. So that is the problem we are trying to solve.
Okay, great. Now let's move to the next slide, value proposition. Now, why is value proposition important? Now, what Archana has talked about design expert, the value proposition is more around the tech element. Architecture as an industry is not new, right? Architects been around for centuries. The difference that she's bringing in, the value that she's bringing in, is come up with a tech tool, and it's not just any tech tool. It's an AI-enabled tech tool, right? That's where the more you get specific as far as your value proposition, the stronger becomes your differentiation from any other player in the market. The more broader is your value proposition definition, the more easier it is not just for existing players to produce the same product, but even for new players to come into the market. I'm sure you heard about entry barriers, right? Entry barriers are the challenges which a new player faces in entering in that market. So if I talk about Ramamurthy's product, the entry barrier is the tech. The fact that he has been procuring a device, he understands the device in and out, which can be used to in the word unique, right? Let's me take an example of this bottle here, right? All of you are able to see the bottle. If I decide to sell this water bottle, what's my value proposition? Zero. Because there are lots of bottles available in the market. Me selling this bottle producing a bottle like this and producing will not take me anywhere. But what if I tell you that I have a temperature meter in the top? It tells me what's the temperature of the water here. It keeps the water at that same temperature for the next 24 hours. What I'm doing, I'm starting from a normal bottle. I'm going to a unique value proposition, which is a bottle which can keep the water at the same temperature for 24 hours, and it indicates the temperature at the top. What have I done? I have stood out of the entire bottle market with all the other suppliers providing the same bottle. I have created a unique value proposition. So the important point here I want to drive, all of you should focus on the word unique. How are you differentiating yourself? How are you establishing yourself as someone unique? How are you ensuring that other people will not be able to provide the same product that you are providing, right? So Rama, to take your example again, you might need to not just focus toward the service that you're offering, which is increasing the speed of the Wi-Fi broadband. You will need to still focus on the uniqueness of the offering compared to the other players in the market. Or for that matter, Lakshmikant, right? I think we've discussed your pitch deck and we discussed the other competitors in the market. The uniqueness is something which you have to work constantly. The reason I'm saying this constantly is, unfortunately, in India, we don't produce too many IP. We don't produce patented products very often. If it is patented, also does not mean that it cannot be made by someone else. But the amount of time required for a patented technology to be beaten is much, much longer. Now that, because you don't have a IP or a patent, the moment your product or solution is out in the market, people can re-engineer, people can look at that same product and produce something very similar all over again, and they can beat you. So focusing on the uniqueness of the value proposition is very important, not just about, so in the previous slide, we discussed prima facie what you provide from a product, service and all. How do you differentiate? How do you improve your customer's life? Relatability of your product or relatability of your product by the customer is very important. What does the customer perceive your product as? Is it something which he cannot simply live without? Is it something which he uses because he needs to? Is it something which he loves, right? Creating that sense of attachment or bond with between with the customer and your product is a game changer, right? We all know why Apple is so popular, because people who use Apple products swear by it. They say, oh, I will never switch my iPhone to an Android ever again. And actually people do that, right? They pay a premium. There have been instances where people have actually sold their kidney to buy an iPhone, right? That's the kind of brand allegiance which Apple is able to drive. Does that mean all of you should be making an Apple? Not necessary. But should you be aspiring for becoming the next Apple? Definitely, right? So you look at the brand aesthetics, you look at the features about Apple. It's the designing, it's the positioning, it's the marketing, it's the way the product is configured, which gives you that sense of uniqueness and makes you feel that, wow, this is something which I want to have, right? So you need to have a one sentence value proposition which clearly articulates what's the value proposition that your product offers. Yeah, just 1 second, sorry. Yeah, so try and make a one sentence value proposition for your business. Lakshmi, I would like you to come in. Can you create a one sentence value proposition for your business, something very similar to what we did for Rachana for Design Expert a few minutes back? Oh, is Lakshmi, are you there?
Sir, his laptop was stuck, I think, sir. He wasn't able to unmute.
Oh, I see.
He
Okay,
messaged in
okay,
the
okay,
chat.
okay. Got it, got it. Who else wants? Ramamurthy, why don't you chip in?
Yes. So
What's the value proposition that you're offering? Can you try and frame something?
yeah, sure. Currently, we have planned like uh, a, a feature like there is no dual SIM smart switch routers available in India, and still there is a scarcity around the global market as well. So that part we are actually targeting. That is our value proposition. And apart from that, there is we have that analysis. We are actually doing it with a US company recently, and it is going on. And the analysis will end by March.
Rama,
Yeah.
value proposition of your business in one sentence.
Yes, Hital. Means the uniqueness, right?
Yes.
Yes. So the uniqueness is we are the first private 5G company in India, targeting end users and businesses, and we are planning to bring a dual SIM feature which is not available in Indian market yet.
I would give
So
you
that
0
is
out of 10, Rama. I would give you 0 out of
okay.
10 in that.
Okay.
Value proposition is always about what is the offering that you provide to the customer, right? What you are does not matter to me. What
Okay.
you offer is what is important to be inscribed in the value proposition. I want you to take a 1 minute thought on this, and I let
Sure.
Sana come in. Sana, why don't you try and talk about the value proposition that you're offering to your customers?
So the value, like what I'm offering to the customer is like we are giving a healthy product with there is no compromise in the taste, and there will be no guilt in having those products. Like when they are eating, they don't have to feel guilty about it. Like because generally the snack means like it comes in the guilt part actually generally to the healthy conscious people, so like they can have these items without guilt, and at the same time they can the taste that we are offering is like almost matching to the one which is in the junk also. So there will be no compromise in the taste. At the
Can we
same
narrow
time,
down? Yeah. Can we narrow down to one sentence and pick up the key essential wordings which will be important in your value proposition?
um,
Healthy, healthy, guilt-free eating at your doorstep. How does that sound?
yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
work further on that. I just gave you
Okay.
something which came to my mind impromptu, but
Okay.
that's where you need to focus on. What you
Okay.
could do further, and this is something which is applicable for all of you. I
Hmm.
use AI a lot. I use ChatGPT a lot. It's a
Yeah.
free tool available for all of us on the same device from which you have logged on to join for this call, right?
Hmm.
Work religiously on AI to vet out your value proposition, fine tune your value proposition, and most important, find out what happens when you type that value proposition in Google and what do you get, right? It will tell you if there is anyone else who's propagating healthy, guilt free food at your doorstep. And then try and identify what products are already available in the market, which
Yeah,
are healthy
like
and guilt free.
what I have faced is like all these kind of products are only available in the D2C market. So
Mm-hmm.
when it's available in the D2C market, the effort that the customer taking is like very nowadays everything is like fast, right?
Yeah.
So so the effort, like they have to go into the online site and they have to sit there and they have to remind themselves to like make an order. So,
Mm-hmm.
anyways, like everybody is definitely has to run to the supermarket at least once in a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I want still the supermarket shelves are like loaded only with the junk products. Like, however, we see like most of the junk items are only there in the snacks.
Got it.
Other
Got it.
than that, only the natural, I mean, the local snacks, like the traditional snacks are available, but it's not in the healthy way. I mean, those chunk
Got
snacks
it.
like the
Got it.
chips and the puffs and those kind of stuffs. So I
Okay.
want mine to like get into the shelves of the supermarket, so
Mhm.
that they can access then and there, like
Okay.
whenever they don't have to make an extra effort. Like
Hmm.
we want to like do both, like both in the D2C and in the general trade. So but so the extra value that I'm gonna put is like I want to take these products to the shelf.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in interest of time, let me just jump to the other slide faster. Sorry. The next one is customer segment. So you need to know your customer segment, define who's your ideal customer. That's where we come to the TG, right? So you define the TG very well. Demographics, behavior, gender, age, male, female, local, urban, rural, all those specifics you need to get down. So you create a customer persona template. You have a broad idea in terms of what your customer looks like, and keep that on a poster in your office all the time. So you're constantly conscious of the fact that you know who your customer is. Next comes the delivery channel. You can do direct sales, or you could go through a distributor. When you talk about direct sales, it could be online and offline, both. So there's an online platform on the right hand side. You could have retail partners. So you could be selling in retail stores, or you provide it to the distributor, and the distributor supplied it in the retail stores. You don't interact with the retail stores directly. Subscription model, that's again something which Archana is doing. The advantage of subscription is that you need to sell once, and the product is selling for the next 12 months or 6 months or whatever your subscription is. The problem is that everything can't be subscription. Only products which need to be used constantly or need to be used at a regular frequency can align for subscription. So I would not sign up for subscription for cakes, because my requirement for cakes are not fixed every month. But I might sign up for subscription for bread. I might sign up for subscription for biscuits. There are certain brands of biscuit. There are certain types of biscuits which are required in my household on a regular basis. I might go for subscription. The advantage of subscription is that you can hold on to the customer for a slightly longer time. The reason I'm saying slightly is you cannot prevent the customer from switching, right? All your subscription models typically have an exit clause where you say, oh, you can stop the service anytime, no questions asked. And if you don't offer that, people will not sign up. So you have to offer that. And once you offer that, you know that overnight itself, the subscription can go down to zero. The customers can decide, no, we found a better alternative. From next month, please don't deliver the product. We'll not be paying. And then, of course, you have B2B collaboration. So B2B, I don't think there are, Archana, your model is more B2B, right? So in
Yes, it's
B2B,
B2B.
you need to look at collaboration ecosystem as well. Or who are the other players in the architecture market who might be interested in being a partner with you and taking your product to the end customer, right? Uh, Going further into the revenue streams, ways to generate income, it's through sales, subscriptions, partnerships, product. So, I further categorize sales as product sales, services sales, maintenance, right? Some of your products like Archana SaaS product, typically you have a maintenance or a service support element, which obviously you want to price it low. You can only price it once the warranty period has expired. Um, Gauzy, you and Sahana, your products, you could be offering menu recipes. You could be offering certain recipes which could be requiring the customer to utilize your product, for example. So those could be additional sources of income. Both of you could partner with product vendors, like you could partner with an oven manufacturer and say that, I will do your oven branding whenever I'm supplying my cakes to the end customer, and so on and so forth, right? Lakshmi, we've discussed on your model, there are different ways for you to extend your collaboration with the customer, because just once the loan has been reconfigured, you might feel stuck, that you might not have anything more to offer. And that's where you need to start looking at alternative ways to enhance your share of wallet is a good term, right? What is the share of wallet you have, right? What is the amount of money which the customer is willing to pay? Out of that, how much are you getting? So you track cost, both fixed and variable. It's a very standard terminology, fixed cost versus variable cost. So the oven in Gossi's case is a fixed cost. The flour is more of a variable cost, which would depend on the quantum of, in case of Archana, the fixed cost obviously is the hardware, the laptops and the office space which is being used. The variable cost will again be the number of people. It can vary at some point of time, or there might not be any significant variable cost, and you can actually produce multiple, you can deliver the same product to multiple customers. And that's the big advantage of the SaaS as a business model. Next is trends, which is sustainability and scalability. Ensure your model is environmentally and socially sustainable. Nowadays, you've been hearing a lot about climate friendly, socially sustainable. Now, these are slang words. These are, cool words to have for certain businesses, but for certain businesses, it's mandatory, right? Especially in the food industry, people have become extremely cautious that are you using pure, natural, organic stuff? Or are you using artificial stuff which is made in a factory? And people are staying away. And I think that's why Shana's selling point of it being a healthy product is very important. Organic usage of organic raw materials become very important. So steps to scale operations while maintaining quality. Now, this is something which I'll probably cover in subsequent discussions, right? You might have an initial business model based on which you had started the business, but as you expand, you probably need more ways to scale the business over a longer period of time. So I'm quickly jumping to the action plan. I want you all to work towards creating a business model canvas for your business. That's the action item. And you get you get 1 week time. So from now till next Friday, you will have some break during Pongal as well. Review your current model, identify the gaps and areas for improvement. So I'm assuming you would have got some value-added inputs from today's call. Try and inculcate those gaps or areas for improvement in your business model, and create a roadmap for optimization. And finally, share that business model in the next, share it on email or WhatsApp, whatever way it is possible. And would love to hear back from you and try and see how we can add more elements. So since this was the very first knowledge series discussion, I'm assuming we can improve upon going forward. The intent of keeping multiple diverse and disparate businesses was to ensure that everyone can try and get value in a group session. And at the same time, all of you can learn from each other's experience as well, even though your experiences might be quite different. But there is inherent learning point for every entrepreneur when you interact with other entrepreneurs. So that's a crux. Any quick comments before we call it off?
Hetal?
Yeah, Bhargav, go ahead.
Would like to tell a one-liner.
Yeah, please.
So one liner about our platform: discover, experience, and trust before you buy with pre-buy.
Discover,
Experience,
experience,
and trust before you buy
okay,
with pre-buy.
very interesting. But you didn't talk about the product, right? You talked about the aesthetics of what you're trying to give from a value perspective, but the core
It's like
product,
a sampling platform. That is the product actually.
you should bring that out in that. So why don't you work further on this and share it on WhatsApp? We can have a more interactive conversations offline as well on this.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, everyone. I have another call at 11:30. So sorry, and I won't be able to extend the call, but open for your feedback and suggestions both on WhatsApp and on email. And thank you very much for joining this, and hope to have many more successful calls with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. And you'll get this slide deck.